easily distracted by my phone.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, March 5th, 2013 City of Oldsmar Council meeting in order. Our invocation, our pledge will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask. This time I'd ask you to please join us in rising.
Heavenly Father, we live in the world you have created and are creating. In all we say and do, keep us aware of the need to ask how this affects the world around us. Keep us from forgetting that your creative energy is alive and active in the world today, bringing life and hope that flies in the face of despair and death. In this time of discussion about the realities of today and the possibilities of tomorrow, help us all be people of hope. Open us to the promise that all will be well. May this council be blessed by your presence, and may the city of Oldsmar be blessed with your hope. This we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Our first item on our agenda is our Citizens Open Forum, and this gives anybody in the audience an opportunity to address the council if they so desire. We've only got a few rules. First, I respectfully ask that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Second, please don't speak towards anything that's on tonight's agenda. And last, when you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, is there anyone that would like to address the council? Loretta.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Loretta White, 601 Shore Drive East. As most of you remember, I was president of the Oldsmar Historical Society from 2003 to 2010, and I meant to do this back then, but better late than never. So, Mr. Mayor, if you'll indulge me by coming down here for a few minutes, I have something I'd like you to have. Back in 2003, Mayor Roniker was on the city council. He wasn't the mayor then, but he was kind enough he did our first logo. Do you remember this?
I do.
If I can get it
A
out.
long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, Richard Mossman. Never picked it up. That was our first logo, and you produced that for us without any compensation. He did it of his own free will. And you also did, I think, 2003 and 4, you also printed our membership cards for us. So this is a little late, but this is to thank you, because we really did appreciate that. Back then, we didn't have very little money, so that really helped. So I would like to read this into the record, if I may. Certificate of Appreciation, Loretta White, past president, Oldsmar Historical Society, 2003-2010, presents to Jim Roniker, Mayor, City of Oldsmar. Thank you for your contribution of the first logo and membership cards for the first members of the Oldsmar Historical Society. Your generosity was greatly appreciated and will forever be remembered by the original, past, and present members of the Oldsmar Historical Society. Presented on March the 5th, 2013 in Oldsmar City Council chambers. We thank you very much. And I think Kathy wants to take a picture over here. Okay.
Smile, Loretta.
I'm on camera. Okay.
Good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Glad that we've been able to do what we've been able to do for the Historical Society.
You made me a happy camper when you put us in this business. So it came a long way since 2000.
And it's a beautiful logo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
our logo has changed now. I'm sorry. It's now the car.
The plaque stays with me, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, you can keep the flag.
Thank you for that, Loretta. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? I love this crowd. Oh, yes. I still love the crowd.
Dan Sareki, 1743 Split Fork Drive. This is my wife, Paula, of course. We are very excited. Tomorrow is our morning mingle for the Chamber of Commerce. For being in business for 14 years, we've never had any of the chamber members at our office, and we're real excited about having this opportunity to invite everyone to our office. As being Small Business of the Year, I want to extend the invitation to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Nothing, you want to say anything, Paula?
No.
You're just up there in spirit?
It's 7:30 tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 9, and we're going to have fresh quiche and fresh fruit and orange juice and plenty of coffee.
Oh, sounds good. And I love your sweater.
And I'm not going to be mad if anybody else wants to address the council, I swear. So, anybody else? I still like this crowd. Seeing no one else, I'll close the citizens' open forum. Our first item on our agenda tonight is our consent docket. Tonight, we've only got one item, and it's to approve the minutes of January 2nd, 2013 City Council meeting. Does anybody wish to pull anything on that? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Under City of Oldsmar, we've got the presentation of the Business of the Quarter Award, and the Vice Mayor is going to be doing that.
Kathy, you don't have to bow to me. Thank you. How do you think it'll work? Well, it's not on yet. Okay, let's see if it comes up.
You know, usually when we have the mayor started this, I guess about 9 years ago. He suggested that we give a Business of the Month award away, and then now it's the Business of the Quarter of the Year award. And a lot of times, I've always tried to work it out that I know who I'm talking about. So a lot of times you get up here and you have to read some of this stuff, and I am going to read some of this, but this happens to be a firm that, since they've been in town this time, my beautiful wife and I has used them for our service on our vehicles. I'll read a little bit. Back yonder in 2010,
Back yonder.
be careful up here. Remember, you have to do this sooner or
Watch
later.
it, Linda.
And then you'll be
I'm
in
sorry,
trouble.
you're right. You're absolutely right.
I know I'm right. Anyway, back yonder in 2010, with a strong determination and the help of their family and a lot of friends, they opened Wilson Tire Automotive on Forest Lakes Boulevard. And by word of mouth, repeat customers, many referrals, and tremendous service, and I say that, emphasize it, tremendous service, Wilson Tire has grown faster than they had anticipated. In 2010, they started with one salesperson, one part-time general service individual, one master tech mechanic. Now in their staff, they have 3 master tech mechanics, 1 full-time general service person, and 2 sales personnel. And of course, both of them. They attribute their success to treating their customers like family and understanding that these are hard economic times. And they look beyond the vehicle to see who the person is driving the vehicle, and they try to be a friend. The Wilson's motto has always been live right, do good things, and good things will happen. The repeat and referral customers make up close to about 90% of their business. Being one of those individuals, I can vouch for that. Even when my beautiful wife, we have a vehicle that has a hiccup. About every 3 months, one of the turning signals will not work. We don't know why. She takes it in there, they put a new bulb in it, and she goes home. This way, it doesn't happen when I'm in the vehicle, because I have a sharp temper with this thing.
No.
It really aggravates me. Anyway, community involvement is part of their family value system. Their list of involvements in community activity is extraordinary. Now, this is, Linda, this is what I have to read because I, like you and everybody else up there, we can't remember all this.
No, I can't either.
You're right. Both David and Karina have coached Little League, and Karina has doubled up as a soccer coach. By the way, they have to get out of here fast tonight. Why do you have to get out of here fast tonight?
We have a soccer game.
They have a soccer team or game? Soccer game. So we're doing this fast. They have been proud sponsors of Oldsmar Elementary School's first grade class, the West Florida Premier Soccer Club, Forest Lakes Dolphin Splash, a Farnell Middle School business partner, the Ace Lake and Alfonso High School football programs, the Bacchus Charity, Mary Bryant Elementary School golf tournament, as well as several other charitable organizations. Their company, Wilson Tire and Automotive, has also helped after-hours shops for the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scout troops of Oldsmar surrounding area, and assisted them in receiving their car care badges. And I didn't know they had a car care badge. As far as I'm concerned, their integrity, their workmanship, their care of customers cannot be evaluated higher than anyone. And we really appreciate that. And so on behalf of the council, this is the Oldsmar Business of the Quarter, or Business of the Quarter. That's important. Only 4 businesses get this a year now. Presented to Wilson Tire and Automotive, 2013, the first quarter.
Hey, thank you very much, Jerry Beaverland. Thank you, Doug. All you guys. Dan, you're a customer. It's out looking out here and seeing quite a few people. Jerry, thank you. You're a customer. We work hard. We try to do the right thing, and every day is not an easy day, but I'm just blessed to have great people around me, and every day I get up, I'm just happy and I smile for having the opportunity. So thank you very much.
You got your picture taken. Get back over here. Get over here. I want to thank you for being a part of Oldsmar. Yeah, I'll tell you what, well, you stand in front of me. I want you in front of me.
Yeah, hold this.
That's right. I need all the help I can get.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, yeah, congratulations. Enjoy your game, guys. Great second base. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And please support our local businesses. Next up, we've got consider the reappointment of John Burns to the Code Enforcement Board. John.
Thank you.
Oh. John, I think we've done this routine before a time or two, but first of all, we want to thank you for wanting to serve on this board. A couple of years ago, the council decided that a lot of the people we were nominating to boards and putting on as alternate members, we never knew who they were. So we wanted to look you in the eyes and see if you had any questions for us, or if anybody has any questions for you. Now would be the time.
I have no questions.
All right. If I want to again thank you for wanting to serve on that board. I need a motion to appoint John to the board. In a second. Got a motion in a second?
Yes,
Yep.
second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thanks, John.
Next up, we've got City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, council members, item number 4 on your agenda is the first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2013-03. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2013-03, an ordinance declaring the intention of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, to annex a parcel of real property located in Section 22, Township 28 South, Range 16 East, further described as 3621 Meriden Avenue, into the corporate limits of the City of Oldsmar, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2013-03 by title only.
Thank you very much. I have a motion for ordinance 2013-03.
So moved.
So a second. Got a motion and a second. This is a public hearing. Does anyone from the public wish to address the council on this ordinance? See no one from the public. I'll close the public hearing. Anyone on council?
No.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Beaverland?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Aye.
Councilmember Beavis?
Aye.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Mayor Roniker? First reading of ordinance 2013-03 annexing 3621 Meriden Avenue is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you very much.
Mayor and council members, item number 5, ordinance, first reading and public hearing of ordinance 2013-04. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2013-04, an ordinance declaring the intention of the City of Oldsmar to annex a parcel of real property located in Section 22, Township 28 South, Range 16 East, further described as 3665 Meriden Avenue, into the corporate limits of the City of Oldsmar, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. It's the first reading of ordinance 2013-04 by title only.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for ordinance 2013-04?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second? Again, this is another public hearing. Does anyone from the public wish to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one from the public, close the public hearing. Anyone on council? These are all great things. I mean, we're getting houses into the city. So call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Beaverland?
Yes, yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Aye.
Councilmember Beavis?
Aye.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Mayor Roniker?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2013-04, annexing 3665 Meriden Avenue is passed with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Again, thank you very much. Anything else for the city attorney?
That's all I have. Thank you.
City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is to consider conceptual approval of the plan for new BMX track at Canal Park and authorize the city manager to continue negotiations with USA BMX and Pinellas County Convention and Visitors Bureau. This is one of the council's priorities, and this evening I'd like to ask our Leisure Services Director, Mr. Lynn Reeves, to continue the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lynn Reeves, Leisure Service Director. What we're here asking tonight is you've got a copy of the conceptual plan. We have with us tonight John David from USA BMX, and our track, as I noted in the memo, has been around since 2001, 2002. It actually started, and Vice Mayor has ridden it on the opening night, and Bruce has ridden it many times. But the track today is a lot different than the track was when the Vice Mayor rode it, and probably since Bruce rode it. And that's because of a person that's taken over as the track operator, and his name is John Sawyer, and he's back here in the audience, and he's done a lot of great things to improve that track. And also tonight we have with us Kevin Smith, Angel Natel, and Kit Dunbar from the Pinellas County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And without further comment, I'll ask John David from USA BMX. He's got a short presentation that he'll kind of give you some background on the track.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate it. I believe we've got a PowerPoint.
You point and the power goes off.
Okay, perfect. All right. As Lynn said, and again, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm John David. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the American Bicycle Association. And here to tell you a little bit about, first and foremost, for those of you who don't know, what an incredible asset you already have in your community. And then secondly, how we can even make it better and have a wider appeal both for the local participants and for participation. All right, so one of the best things to do is to define what BMX is, since it's kind of a different sport that a lot of people aren't really aware of. And we'll start with talking about who the American Bicycle Association is. We're the national governing body for the sport of BMX or bicycle motocross. And what's really amazing within our sport is the growth that's occurred since your track was constructed. In 2000, we were an association of less than 40,000 members. We now boast 70,000 members, and most importantly and most exciting is the fact that our sport is now an Olympic sport. Our sport was introduced into the Olympics in Beijing in 2008, and in London in last year in 2012 had its second coming with great growth and great attributes. The organization as a whole in the sport was founded in 1977, and currently we have over 380 local BMX tracks just like what you have here in Oldsmar. In the state of Florida, we have 18. We also conduct a 30-race national series, which is one of the largest generators of hotel room nights and bed tax of any other sport in the industry. So one thing that we're extremely proud of. And we've been hosting national events here in Oldsmar at Oldsmar BMX since 2002. I know it wants to turn. I know it does. Okay. Any tips? There we go. So it's always the clicker that gets you. So bicycle motocross, when we talk about it, there's a couple of key things about the sport that really make it unique. Again, for those who really don't know what it is, and it's the age range. And something that you'll see this weekend at the national event that's going to be hosted here is that we literally have riders that start right now as young as 2 years old on our Strider bicycles that are pedalless bicycles. And it's an unbelievable introduction to the sport. Well, also this weekend we'll have our oldest rider in the entire network, which is a 77-year-old out of Georgia named Ferris Farsons. So it's an amazing aspect to come out and see, in some cases, 3 to 4 generations participating on the same BMX track. And if you come out and you have the opportunity to see it, what is so exciting is, especially during our opening ceremonies at 11:30 on Saturday, where we start with our Strider riders, their 2, 3, and 4-year-old age groups, and then we shift right into our Olympic level elite athletes. And this weekend, we were so blessed because we're literally going to have all 6 of the medalists from the London Games in our sport. So really, really nice attribute to see within that. But one of the things that's so great about this aspect and this concept within BMX racing is the simple phase, the fact that no one sits on the bench, that anybody as an individual sport can come out and participate, and there is a spot for them. That's the cornerstone of what our sport is and why our sport has grown so much, because everyone has an opportunity to come out and have a great opportunity and participate and to be successful. So let's dive in a little bit and talk to you about some of the accolades of Oldsmar BMX and what they've done, as well as talk a little bit about some of the demographic numbers. You can see here, and I'll blast through it quickly, but one of the best photos that we have out there and something we're so proud of, that's your typical BMX family right there. That's mom and dad. They're out there. Notice they've got their jerseys on too. And really, as a demographic, what we're seeing these days is our fastest growing age group is 13 and under, but it's especially at 8 and under. And it's because so many of our sports now almost 40 years old, we've got second generation BMXers coming out, people that were out now bringing their children out. And the funniest thing that we're seeing is while we're seeing enormous growth at 8 and under, we're seeing huge growth at 36 and over. And it's because mom and dad typically, and we are statistically tracking this as a sport, mom and dad typically last about a month until mom or dad, one of the two, buys a membership and starts participating as well. But what's so exciting about that is that fact that they're out there and they're actively participating with their family. Very seldom are they just sitting there in the bleachers grandstanding and cheering their family along. It truly is a family component. So some of the things we like to point out too, as an association, we sanctioned 14,000 local BMX races last year at our network of 400 plus BMX tracks. So it's a staggering number of activity that's going on, and I'll show you in the next slide some of the numbers that we're seeing at Oldsmar BMX. So here's some of the highlights of your facility. First and foremost, as Lynn said, it was constructed in 2000. We're the annual host since 2003 of the USA BMX Gator Nationals, which has become one of the actually premier stops on the National Series. This track has generated more membership for our association than any other BMX track on the Eastern Seaboard, and that's every year except one since 2003. And I'm here to tell you that when they came on in Florida, in Oldsmar, a lot of people were like, really, who is this track? Where did this track come from? How could they beat a track that's been around on Long Island? Or how could they beat a track that's down South Florida that's been around for 30 years? And they did it in their first year. They average, and this is 2012 numbers, they averaged 71 participants per local race. So per local race that they're running during the week. This is the staggering number. They averaged 71 participants 112 times. So one of the questions to ask yourself, and I love to challenge people like Lynn, I say, I'll tell Lynn, tell me another recreation program that you have that's averaging those kind of numbers and servicing those type of people. And that's about 300 family members in total 112 times in a year. So the good news is for your program, it's doing phenomenal, and it's one of the best in the network. Here's a great slide of the participation numbers of the national event, which is really going to lead into the bulk of what we're going to talk about here in just a second, is the growth of this event that we've taken place here. Now, these are actually unique participation numbers on a daily basis. You can see 5 years ago in 08, very small numbers, only about 370 participants. We've grown and grown fast. And a lot of different things that we've done is as the venue has grown and developed, we've also, too, increased the importance of the event that's here. And currently right now, outside of our Grand Nationals, in the ranking point system that we do, and from an Olympic qualifying standpoint, your venue hosts one of the single most important races that we host within the network of tracks, and actually within the world. For example, this weekend, it's a part of UCI, the Union Cyclists International, which is the international governing body for our sport. It's the Continental Championships for the Olympic level riders. So this weekend, we have a tremendous amount of participation coming in from South America, from Canada, and from Europe to participate on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because they have to if they want to go participate on that road to Rio. So a lot of this stuff, I'm sure, is all happening here, and hopefully why you didn't even know it, to see the kind of asset. But you can see that last year alone, we had 1,215 participants, which is staggering growth. But unfortunately, sometimes growth comes with a bit of a problem. When we look at daily attendance, Again, on the next slide, really good one here. Average daily attendance last year, we peaked out at 5,103 attendees. Kind of a staggering number when you think of all of these people too are far, typically within about a 2.5 hour stay from the city center. Actually, 90% of them, are from outside of 2.5 hours, meaning they are staying in your hotels, and they're eating at your eateries. So great numbers in that respect. This is an interesting one, too, that I really hope excites you. This is state and country participation. Last year, we had 42 states represented. So BMXers literally were here from all over the place, as well as 16 different nations that were here participating in Oldsmar. So you can see the growth as the numbers have participated, so has the statewide appeal of the BMX event, as well as the international appeal of the BMX event. So what are our current challenges with the existing site? The first thing I can tell you is when I started working with Lynn in, I think, 1998 on this project, to think that our sport would ever become an Olympic sport, to think that I would ever have the privilege of going to London and see some of these kids that I helped raise and get into the sport, participate at that level, would have never been, in my realm of reality. And to think that we would ever be pulling 1,200 riders at a national event in Oldsmar, I think Lynn and I would have pinched ourselves if we ever even dreamed this big. But the reality is, it has happened. And the reality is unfortunately, we've literally outgrown the facility in respect of the current track and its existing configuration. So this is one of those blessings in disguise, and if anything, while it says it's a challenge, it's truly an opportunity. But some of the key challenges that we're facing is, one, we've got a limited size both for the track and the vendors. When your track was built, it was built to be a national caliber BMX track, and it is. And John Sawyer and the team that maintain it do the best job of probably anybody within the network of tracks. The problem that he's faced with, he's in a small area. He's in a small pocket of area. And also, too, with the advent of BMX into the Olympics, the footprints of BMX tracks have really grown. And we're doing a lot of unique things with that to really make sure that we create an exciting event that meets the needs of an Olympic level athlete, but also meets the needs of our 2-year-olds. But we can do it within one area. The other problem that we face, too, is that there's certainly not enough bleacher seating within the current configuration because we just can't stick them in there. There's just not there. The biggest concern that we face with all of this is the concern of opportunity lost. As we move forward with this event, we know that this event is going to grow. We already can tell from our pre-registration numbers, which will shut off tomorrow, but we can already tell right now that we're tracking to be about 10% higher than where we were last year. So where we should be at almost, probably right at about 1,400 participants. So the opportunity loss concern is the fact that we simply have to do something in order to maintain the event here. So that's our biggest concern, and a concern from a governing body standpoint is the City of Oldsmar has been phenomenal to us. The CVB with St. Petersburg Clearwater Sports Commission has been phenomenal partners of ours. We want to ensure that the event stays here, and that we can help you to expand what you already have to make it even better. So what are some of the opportunities that we have? Now, I apologize for this because that got transposed in the world of PowerPoint somehow. But I believe we've sent that to you, and Lynn sent that to you as a slide earlier with some of the other documentation, some of the memos. But we've already worked within an AutoCAD program on designing a new configuration. And with the removal of one of the ball fields and reorienting the BMX track, we do, on the current park and the current structure and size, have the ability to basically build an Olympic caliber BMX track. And that's a schematic of it that just doesn't show up well on screen. But one that literally has an Olympic level starting hill, which, believe it or not, is 26 feet tall. As well as, I know, which is staggering, right? As well as, an amateur starting hill that's going to work great for a brand new 8-year-old that comes out that day. So truly the ability to build a venue that does everything. It's one size fits all. So with that said, the interesting thing about the conceptual concept that we've come up with is, first and foremost, is when we talk about it, is there really a need for this? Well, one, we know that there's a need to do something because we've got to accommodate the growth that we've had for the event, which is an outstanding problem to have. But the other thing that we have that's really, really unique is right now an Olympic level BMX track, the same thing that our athletes have to train on year after year to go down to Rio. We only have one of those in the entire United States. That's it, only one. And the unfortunate part is the fact that it's at Chula Vista at the Olympic Training Center. And guess what that means? Anytime you put the rings on it and you put the USOC name on it, it means that there's very, very limited access. So the problem is any of our potential Olympic hopefuls, and even the bigger problem, any of our Olympic athletes that are part of the USA BMX network, but aren't from the United States have zero access to that level of BMX track. Currently, they're literally flying to Europe to go train for months at a time, then coming back because they live here to race within our series, because our series is the premier series. So it's an interesting situation. So what opportunities does having a venue like this bring to you? First and foremost, you're literally going to have Olympic athletes that are going to move to Oldsmar. They're going to move here to sit here, to live here, and to train here because this is the only place that they can get on the track. Right. Our gold medalist that won both in Beijing and in London is currently sitting number 1 in our points. Is a gentleman by the name of Mara Strawburn from Latvia. He currently lives in Marietta, California. And he literally watches where we're putting these venues on a daily basis to try to find where he can go to train so he doesn't have to go to Europe because there's such a limited access of these venues. The other thing that we can do too with this venue is we're going to be able to add additional events that we don't currently have and layer the events that we do have. One of the first introductions would be adding a World Cup event, which we host one World Cup in the U.S., which is a huge shortage because our United States riders have to travel all across the world because we can't house the events because we don't have a venue. And that event is held at the United States Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, California. So that would give us that ability to do that, which brings network television on NBC, so forth and so on. Other opportunities exist like the Olympic trials. And so it's a great position to be in the fact that you have, you currently have a phenomenal BMX program that truly, and I can tell you this because I work with all of them, that truly is one of the best we have. It's absolutely the best on the East Coast, and it's consistently had one of the largest increases of participation anywhere. And while for us, the little BMX track that's off of Tampa Road that we drive by every day doesn't seem like much, within the world of BMX racing and the world of cycling, Oldsmar is a household name. We've got families from 43 states that are going to be coming here to be a part of your town this weekend. And what I'm here to tell you is that I hope we can do it for another 10 years. And I hope we can bring this level with your support and the support of the rest of the community. We can bring this to an Olympic level to where we can bring in television coverage, we can bring in elite level training, and we can literally move families of potential Olympic hopefuls here to this town. And it really, honestly, at the end of the day, it could have never happened without your commitment back in 2000. And with that said, I'd certainly like to give you the opportunity to ask any questions of me.
I have a question. Why did you doubt it in 2001?
That's a great question. I'll tell you this. For us, I started racing BMX in the 80s, and I think for us, we were always this underdog. We were always this sport that people didn't really know a lot about.
Let me tell you something. The people that were here when this happened, the city manager and then the mayor almost immediately, we knew that this was going to be a success. And in fact, the matter is, where have you been? You're trying to sell us tonight. We've been trying to sell you for the last 10 years to increase it. Have we not, Mayor?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, during one of our planning sessions, we made this a priority to have the Olympic training facility. So, we're glad you're finally here. I don't know what took 3 years, but I know I'm ready to move forward with it. I think it's great. My only concern would be the parking. I know we're taking field 5 from the Little League field, but when you're talking about that much increase, do we have enough parking at that field?
Well, we use some of the grass areas, not just the paved parking lot, and so far that's worked. And we still have that area that goes back towards the maintenance building. And
we can add more parking. So are you going to, is this next year at this time, is this going to be built?
That's the goal. Absolutely. That's exactly what we want to do.
What would hold it up?
At the end of the day, it always comes down to funding. That's the biggest component, is just to get that in line. As far as raw construction, that process actually goes very quick. Again, it's helped greatly because of the local operator that's here. That was just phenomenal.
Well, that's why we're so appreciative that Pinellas County is sitting out there listening to this. You will give us the money, won't you not?
Yeah, please. Yeah, we'd like to talk about the money while you're coming up. 3 years ago, I was in Orlando at a function, and I got a call from one of our county commissioners saying that the Hotel Visitors Board had recognized you guys as being the largest room consumer. I guess it was in October, November. When is the Gator Nationals? October?
It's in March.
Oh, it's this weekend? Gator Nationals is this weekend? Yeah. So, he's telling me that 3 years ago, you guys were the largest hotel consumer in Pinellas County for this month. which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
May I say something? As you all know, I sit on the RPC, and I'm on a special committee that is doing the whole regional thing. And believe me, Pasco County wants what Oldsmar has.
Well, they aren't going to get it. Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, this is a really big deal.
Right. And you said that it became an Olympic sport in 2008?
2008 in Beijing.
So back in 2001 or 2, when y'all approved this, it was not even a thought that that could happen probably, right?
We honestly didn't believe the sport could get to this size and scope.
Right. To hear that Oldsmar is a household name across the world is like so cool.
Okay, let's get to the money.
The money's important. Because it is $650,000 we're looking for.
My name is Kevin Smith. I am the director of the St. Petersburg Clearwater Sports Commission. We are a division of Visit St. Pete Clearwater. First thing I want to make very clear is I do not speak for the Tourist Development Council or the Board of County Commissioners. Oldsmar is a worldwide name. I was in Lausanne, Switzerland in November at the UIC meetings and working with the International Olympic Committee. Our job is to go out, recruit, host, develop, and bring sporting events back here to Pinellas County for sports economic impact and tourism. In Lausanne, on a sheet of paper they were handing out to every other nation that was there, was Oldsmar, Florida, as part of the BMX racing tour. So it's a very prominent name out there. People are aware of Oldsmar. They knew where it was, and it makes a big difference. So to get to your question, Mr. Vice Mayor, not to belay it any further, what we are doing is we have been a supporter of this event for the last 4 or 5 years now at a very sizable sum of money to help with marketing and advertising. We think that has taken hold. We think it has been very effective in working with USA BMX. The partnership that we have formed with the City of Oldsmar, Lynn, John David, and USA BMX, we hope to move forward in creating more enthusiasm and more people coming to this destination. The dollars, however, just like anything else, has to be a partnership, has to be something that has to be examined by the Board of County Commissioners, by the Tourist Development Council, by Visit St. Pete Clearwater and the Executive Director. So my job is to process all of this information, take that back, and begin our process of trying to figure out how we can help this happen. I have been on the phone with the state, I have been on the phone with several representatives so that we can begin this process, and it is a process, and that's really what I have to tell you, is that this is a process. We're beginning it. We'd like to see this happen. From my standpoint as a director here and as your sports commission, this is something that's very exciting. This is something that's lightning in a bottle, and it doesn't come by very often. So to take advantage of something like this would be phenomenal for the City of Oldsmar.
We are a council that cooperates, unlike other councils with other sports activities.
Well, that helps. That'll be helpful.
Be nice.
So, and it is very important that you are, because it is important to work and find that partnership and how we're gonna make this work. We have some meetings set up with John, with some other folks this week, and we're going to try to get the ball rolling down the right road. As far as commitment of dollars, I cannot tell you or say that what that might be or if that might be. That's just the reality.
We'd rather get the wheel rolling.
We got to get the wheel rolling. We got to get the wheel rolling. It is quite phenomenal what's been happening here, and it's very good to see. I think this can be the road to Rio. I think that it's a very good marketing point and selling point for the City of Oldsmar and Pinellas County. I think you have the right partners with USA BMX. I think you have the right track operator in John. And hopefully that all equates out to something that can be very successful for all of us here in Pinellas County.
Always remember that Oldsmar is the epicenter of a 25-mile radius of 3 million people. We are the center of that.
That's true.
Yeah. I did not know that, but
Well, when you look at, he means when you look at the map,
right.
you know.
So we'll do what we can. We'll do our part. We will continue to support this year's event in the manner that we have been, marketing and advertising side, and then we will certainly do the best we can to provide as much support as possible.
Question. You know, this is going to be the last meeting of the mayor, but the mayor's not going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to go away. And then we have the new incoming mayor. Can either one of them, because they are the spokesman for the city, would you recommend that they contact our legislators?
I think that might be putting the cart before the horse at this point.
Okay.
I think that what we have to first do is and John and I and my staff is going to work on putting together some figures and facts and, in essence, a white paper of a sort so that we can have the right story. And that's the important part, is to tell the story, but tell it right and get it right the first time, so that everything that we do in phases through this, or however this is going to be laid out, is done correctly, is done by USA BMX standards, by standards of the City of Oldsmar, by standards of the UIC, so that when this happens, that it is exactly what it should be the first time. So that's kind of where we're at with that right now.
And I greatly appreciate you being here, Mr. Smith, and your comments. They're very well measured and fair. I mean, I can't argue with anything you're saying. As I said, this was identified as a priority of the city about 3 years ago. So anything we can do from our end to facilitate the wheels of motion, so to speak, we're willing to do so.
Well, thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do you want to just give a very brief comment about this weekend, since you're
Absolutely.
here and have an opportunity to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this weekend is going to be a really exciting set of racing that we've got in store. First, we start off Friday night with our pre-race. Races are going to get underway right at 5 o'clock. And while it's one of the smaller of the three races, because each day is an independent national event, we still have it's going to be packed with action, especially under the lights on Friday, as it is the first part of the Continental Championships. So all of the North American Olympic hopefuls and such on the ages of our four categories of junior men, junior women, elite men, elite women will be participating. So you got some great talent that's going to be out there on Friday night. Saturday, we start up with a warm-up practice for the riders. Right at 11:30, we have our opening ceremonies. Kind of starts at about 11:20. That's a great opportunity and a great time to be there, because as I said, we've got kind of a fun opening ceremonies that we do with our parade lap, and then we start right with our Strider riders, our 2-year-olds, and then transition into the elite level riders. But we'll have an upwards of about 250 groups of racers that we're going to race individually to where we qualify them down and get them into the main events. And then on Sunday, we start it over again, 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, and we'll be running races all the way till about 3 o'clock. So you've got every category of racer you could possibly imagine, from a 2-year-old who's just learning not even to ride on a balance bike yet, all the way to a 77-year-old gentleman out there who's just out there having a ball with a grin on his face. And you've got every skill level, from riders that are novices, that this could be their first. We'll have a few riders they'll participate here locally at Oldsmar for just a couple of times, and they'll show up for the national event for the big show. So it's quite something to see. It's quite an event, and again, the Strider thing is just worth seeing, because when you see a kid go around with a pacifier in his mouth on a bicycle racing, it's just nothing quite like that. That just always strings a chord.
And that's shown throughout the nation, right, on TV? And
It is. So we've got some great television packages and coverage too that's out there that's covering the event. So the media exposure ought to be outstanding.
Is there a website or something that people could find information?
All the information can be found at usabmx.com.
Okay.
Is it free, or are there tickets to purchase?
There's just parking, but this is no ticket, just a nominal parking fee.
Cool.
Well, in my meeting with Bruce today, the city manager, I was very happy to hear that he's a BMX rider.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our city manager is a
Retired.
BMX rider.
Bruce is like me,
bad niche
retired.
is what he says.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Mr. Sawyer, great job out there. Thank you. Okay. Next up is the report on red light camera program. Oh, I didn't even vote on this, did we? No. I thought it was for discussion only, but it does say we approve the conceptual plan for new BMX track at Canal Park. I need a motion.
So
I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I apologize about that.
Thank you.
I was excited.
That is exciting.
Mayor and council, the next item is a report on the red light camera program. It does not require council action this evening. The program has been in operation a little over 6 months, and I'd like to ask our Public Works Director, Lisa Ray, to continue the presentation, or give you the presentation and report tonight.
Lisa.
Thank you very much. Lisa Ray, Director of Public Works, and we're going to be talking tonight about the red light camera program. I've put together a presentation, and it includes data from Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, ATS, who is the camera provider, and obviously from Oldsmar City Finance Department. We do have representatives available from each of those organizations, so if there are additional questions that I'm not able to answer, they'll be able to address them for you. Just to give a little background for those of you who aren't familiar with it, the council entered into an agreement with ATS in December of 2011, and 4 camera locations were identified. The locations are listed on the screen, and I'll also have a map in a second that'll show them. The warning period after the cameras were installed was completed in July of 2012, and enforcement began in August of 2012. Now, one thing I do want to point out, each of these locations, there's only one camera, so only one direction is covered. We're not covering all of the directions. Now, you can see on this map that all of these cameras are on the main corridor that goes through Oldsmar. First one to the far right is going to be at St. Pete Drive and Tampa Road. The next one is going to be up at 580 and Tampa Road, followed by Forest Lakes, and then Curlew at Gull Aire Village. Now, since the cameras were installed, which is exactly 6 months in January, we did a comparison of the collisions, and this data was provided by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. As you can see, we've had a net increase of 3 collisions if you take all of the intersections. However, one thing I definitely want to point out is that the collision data that is available is for a 1,000-foot radius at the intersection. This is not just the direction of the light. So this would cover, if you were to take, for example, Forest Lakes at Tampa Road, this would also end up being people pulling out of the Walgreens, people pulling out of the Chili's. So you're looking at different directions of traffic. You're not just looking at the direction that has the light. And the sheriff's officers will be able to explain in more detail how they analyze the information and what information is available to them and what is actually entered in their computer. So they'll be able to give you some more details on that. We do see increases at 2 of the intersections, but we also see decreases at 2 intersections. But again, it's not really conclusive because it is a 1,000-foot radius around the intersection.
It seems like the sample's too small to gather any information from anyway.
Yeah, and that is definitely true. One of the things that ATS did indicate is that usually they wait for 1 whole year of data prior to really looking at collisions, because you need more data. You need a bigger sampling. Now, this is the citations that have been issued per location, and if you notice, most of them are trending pretty consistent. However, at Tampa Road and State Road 580, we had started high. There was a downward trend happening in this first 3 months. And then there's a pretty big drop-off in November. And if you might remember, we did receive an email questioning the timing of the yellow light, and the city requested that Pinellas County and FDOT evaluate the timing of that light, which was completed in November, and on November 7th, the yellow light was changed. And the reason for changing it per FDOT is because of the type of approach. So I put together a graphic here that shows the 2 different types of turns. The first turn on your right is Tampa Road to St. Pete Drive. That's a 90-degree angle. That is the default angle that they consider for most turn lights. It's going to, you're slowing down more to make that turn. Whereas up at 580 in Tampa Road, there are places when you're driving along where that angle of turn is straight through traffic. So originally, that turn light had been set as if it were a 90-degree turn. But when they reevaluated it, they looked at this angle and they were out there and they were watching the traffic. FDOT said, even though it is a turn, the behavior of the driver driving their vehicle is going to be the same as if they were going straight, because they're not required to slow down as much when they come up to that intersection to make the turn. So because of the physics of the car and the velocity that it's going, they recommended treating that as if it was a straight through light and not a turn light. And that's why they made the change. The light set at 3 is within the law. The range is from 3 to 5.8, depending on the approach velocity. So we had no input in this. This is completely an FDOT road, and FDOT makes the recommendations on the timing, and then Pinellas County implements it. And so once we requested that they reevaluate it based on the email we received at the end of October, they promptly did that, and we promptly reset it. Or once they determined it, Pinellas County reset it. We did not. But I wanted to kind of explain why and what they were seeing.
Yes.
Now, this is a summary of the citations that have been issued so far, and then the ones that have been converted to UTC. So we have notice of violation. That is the first citation that our individual receives. And then if they do not pay within 30 days, or if they're transferring the responsibility to another party, or if they're going to go to court to challenge it, it becomes a uniform traffic citation. Now, over time, they've averaging at around 20% of the tickets become UTCs. We did have some learning curves in terms of timing and how everything was sequenced, and we learned that a lot of people were paying right after the deadline, just because of mail and just because of sequencing. And so what the city decided to do, and this was within our right, was we decided to extend the notice of violation payment time. So we added another week to it. And we did that in November. And so you can see, you start seeing a drop off in December and January to how many of them became UTCs from NOVs. And so that's one of the things, but that's part of the learning curve. You know, when you're first starting up any new program, there's a lot of information that you don't have. And so we're learning as we're going along and making the appropriate adjustments that we feel are fair. This is, I thought, a very interesting slide. It's the citations by zip codes. And you can see that 10% of the citations that have been issued have come from the 34677 zip code. Now, that does not, as you know, just include Oldsmar, but for those who might not know, that also includes East Lake Woodlands. So it's a much larger geographic area and a larger population than just the city of Oldsmar in that 10%. The other 90% come either from other local zip codes or from other zip codes altogether, people traveling through here on the way to Clearwater or coming from Orlando, wherever they might be coming from. So the impact it's spread out. It's not just, you know, I have seen some comments about targeting the citizens of Oldsmar. We are definitely not. This is looking at people's behavior as they're driving strictly, regardless of where they're from.
Yeah, Lisa, excuse me a second. On the other local zip codes,
yes.
Is that Pinellas County only, or does that include Hillsborough County?
It includes Hillsborough County also, the West Chase area, town and country, people coming in from, I guess that's the western half of Hillsborough County coming over this direction.
The green would be basically non-Tampa Bay residents? Would be
pretty much,
okay.
Yeah. I would say that's a fair statement. And here is a look at the distribution of the revenue that has been received. To date, all of the intersections have generated just over $500,000 of revenue. Now, $300,000, over $300,000 has been remitted to the state. It goes to the Department of Revenue. Just to make sure, you know, $3, I want to make sure I get these numbers right. $3 of that from each ticket goes to the Brain and Spinal Cord Injury Trust Fund. That's of the money that's going to the state. And $10 from each ticket goes to the Health Emergency Medical Services Trust. The remainder of the money that the state receives goes into the general fund. And then there's the portion that goes to ATS, which is our camera provider, and then the revenue to the city, net revenue to the city. Now, this is looking at everything since inception. And as I discussed as we went through that, we have made some changes as we went through the last 6 months. These are the revenue numbers per location. As you can see, one location is actually in the negative. It has never, the the amount of money coming in at that location has always all gone to the state and ATS. In fact, the city has had to pay out some because it's the total of all 4 locations that's looked at when it comes to paying ATS. And then you can see the revenue for the other locations.
If I can ask on that, the city itself isn't paying out, we're just paying it out of the other 3 traffic.
Correct,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Can we move it? Is that possible?
That's something we're going to look at in the future.
Move it
yes.
to another location?
Or could we take it away? Are we allowed to do that contractually, or do we have to stay with 4 for, what was it, a 5-year contract?
I can't remember whether we have the right to terminate. I thought we had the right to move it to another location if we just paid a fee for the installation.
Yeah, we do. That's the way it works.
To move it.
Sure, we could move it.
So just kind of in summary, the collision counts, because they include everything within 1,000 feet, are really inconclusive at this point. You'd have to really go in a lot more depth. The numbers of NOVs issued, they have been decreasing. Even if you look back at it, we are seeing fewer NOVs, which means fewer people are actually running the red lights. And then also, there's the one intersection that that the monthly equipment fee has consistently exceeded the revenue, which again is something we were just talking about now. You did have 2 additional handouts, I believe. Ann, did you? You have one which was provided by the sheriff's office. This is what I used to generate that slide, and then a report here from ATS. If you have any questions for me or for one of the representatives out here, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for Lisa?
I do actually have a question. I received an email from a couple of citizens, and one of them made a good point. So I just wanted to find out the information behind it. She pointed out that the one, I guess it's the northwestbound 580, the one that you just explained why we increased the amount of time because of the way that it was rated. She said that shouldn't we be issuing some kind of, credit or refund for people that got it during the time that it wasn't, but that it wasn't calibrated. But are you saying that the 3 seconds was within the law, but we decided to increase it because of the approach velocity? Is that true?
The 3 seconds is within the law, and 3 seconds is I would say, more or less the default time for a 90-degree turn. And so if you're looking at this kind of a turn, they're not going to default to the longer time unless there's a request. And
what's the default time for that? So they don't have one. They don't have one because this is so new. Okay, another thing.
Or because it's not the norm. They tend to when they're and just like any other kind of engineering design, you design everything for normal circumstances. Right. And then when you get out and you have field conditions, then you end up adjusting for field conditions. And in the situation of lights, they do those adjustments when they either get reports that there's excessive accidents or there's stacking problems, or in this situation, we requested that they reevaluate
Haven't done anything outside the law. We're refining it to make it better.
No.
The other point she made I thought was valid. She said that the red light camera warning sign is all the way over on the right-hand side. And I live that way, so I go down that road all the time. I never see that sign. So the people that are turning left onto 580 might not be aware that there's a red light camera there. Could a warning sign be put in the median on the left-hand side where those of us, people that are on at that light there, so that people could see it? Because it's so many lanes over.
That is something we are looking at, yes. I don't have an answer, yes or no, but we are looking at it.
Because that's pretty valid. I'm on the council, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't always remember there's a red light camera there because the sign is so far away.
I mean, that came to our attention, and we are looking at it.
You are looking at it. Because how hard could it be to put a sign up?
Part of the problem that I think we ran into when we were first installing this was the distance from the railroad tracks and the fact that in that part you have a completely concrete median. So, but we are looking at it again.
Where to put the sign?
Yeah.
Right.
So we're looking at it again to see if there is a way to position it. But do you have anything to add to that, or?
Just a little. Sergeant Larry Novin, hello. My unit is in charge of reviewing the red light violations. and I'm responsible for the transfer of liability. And just to kind of just to cover that part about the sign, I'm not here to give an opinion from the sheriff's office whatsoever, but I will state, in regards to the timing of a light and to the posting of a warning sign, a red light is a red light. Whether you sit there and watch them run a red light, we don't go back and time the yellow light. It's a matter that the fact that light was red, they were before the crossbar.
That's true.
They continue through. If you have to look, off to the distance to look for a warning sign to tell you not to run a red light,
Yes,
I don't know what this,
that's exactly what
But
I was thinking.
That's not really an opinion of the sheriff's office. It's kind of stating the facts about a red light is a red light and whether it's posted or not.
Yeah, don't run it.
No, that's true, but it is, she emailed me and I want to be able to respond to her, and I agree, you run a red light, but it would be nice that everybody, and it also is training everybody's behavior in driving. I
Yes.
really believe that I don't go up to any light, whether there's a sign or not, without thinking there's a camera there. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you just assume cameras are everywhere.
Not just in Oldsmar
Right,
either.
right.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you.
And I guess in comment to, I've been asked the same thing about the refunding, and I said, just as the sheriff said, is that, you're running it, even prior to us putting in these red lights, if you ran it and a sheriff was there, you were going to get a ticket regardless of the timing, and they're not making any refunds. It needed to be done, it was done, and we moved forward. But that's basically what I've said, is if it wasn't us, you were going to get it anyway for running it, so.
Well, she made the point that it got thrown out. Her husband's ticket did get thrown out
did.
because of the timing of the light. So her point is if
they got
her
lucky.
husband's ticket got thrown out,
For our-
what about
at our-
all,
At our light?
at that light?
Oh,
yeah.
it did.
At that light,
But is it based on the timing though?
based on the timing.
That was her point. There was a case where that was brought to the attention of the magistrate in the court, and he decided to throw it out. That's not to say that every magistrate will side with that.
Exactly.
That's not to say that the magistrate was right or wrong in doing what he did. But the timing of the light was within
That was my
within the
original
statute.
question, so that's good.
Whether or not, the magistrate doesn't like red lights, whether or not he didn't want to research it, who knows? But he did make that decision, or she
Okay,
did at
thank
that
you.
time.
That's what I needed to know.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Felt about it.
That is, the
Right.
City of Oldsmar has no say in what the timing is whatsoever. We don't get involved with that, so I've seen
It did kind of
emails.
to some extent, because we brought it to their attention
Right,
to see if it was.
change it, right,
Yeah.
but we can't go, hey, we
Right.
want this 4 seconds.
Right.
They're not gonna do that.
Come back and said the timing's fine the way it is. I mean, we asked them to evaluate it, and just like we coordinated, we asked them to evaluate timing at the intersection of Forest Lakes and 580 where the children cross.
Yes.
And, so they come out, they do the evaluation, and in the end, it's their decision, one way or the other.
Which is a miserable intersection.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. I want to talk about the, anybody else have any questions regarding this?
No, I mean, I agree with you. The sampling was so small, and you're getting one of how many different movements. I guess my question to the sheriff might be, given that information about, or even Rick or whoever, I've heard this, but even though accidents may be up or down, it's the type of accidents. From what I'm reading and hearing is that, yeah, you might have 12 before and 12 now, but now they're rear end collisions instead of, T-bones in the intersections, which is really
We have,
Safer.
when we analyze
Quality, I don't know what you
the
call it.
stats that you're provided for the crashes are in fact a crash that we get from our dispatching system where they review and they pull that it's in fact a crash, a vehicle crash. But in order to find out what type of a crash, what factors were involved, what cause was involved, you're going to have to print out and read through. Every one is about 9 pages. This is a very basic car crash at an intersection, and there's 9 pages that need to be filled out. This is the DHSMV report that goes to Tallahassee. So in order to determine if it's related to the intersection, if it's related to the red light, if it's related to drug or alcohol or whatever the case may be, it's a very time-consuming task that would be required to do that.
Does the sheriff's department have a feel, though, in general, without, I appreciate it and I know what you're saying. I mean, are they seeing that they're less severe wrecks or?
We don't have any, no way of telling you without reviewing everything.
And I don't mean ours, I mean just in general with these red lights all over the county and things, if they're seeing any. Because I hear that it's really not a huge difference, but.
We're seeing a lot of violations come through, and we're still seeing, as you saw, the numbers of the crashes are, they fluctuate. And that's, I know it's a very vague answer, but that's all I can give you at this point.
Thank you.
It is.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, now I want to, I think everybody's got in their packet the letter I received from the clerk of the court, Ken Burke. And I think the clerk has a lot of valid points in his letter. I don't say I don't disagree with anything he's written. So the first thing I wanted to know is, can we put the contract on a moratorium contractually? Or are we not allowed to do that? Or do we just wait for the legislature to make their changes, which I hear are forthcoming?
Well, you do have a provision in the contract that provides that if you don't budget sufficient enough money to pay for the agreement, and provide, in other words, provide an annual appropriation, that you can terminate the agreement.
But we've already budgeted it for this year, correct? So,
and as for a moratorium, of course, it doesn't provide for that, it only provides for termination. And the different ways you can terminate would be, let me just find that provision, it's a lengthy contract.
I'm kind of inclined to wait for the legislature.
Says that you can terminate the agreement by mutual written consent. You can terminate it for cause if they fail to materially perform. And you can terminate it for legal reasons in the event of the red light safety camera system is rendered unlawful. So those are the only ways that you can terminate it. And that would, I would consider a moratorium basically a termination because you stop paying and you stop enforcing. You know, and also while I was looking at the contract, I did want to let you know that I was correct on the issue of moving the camera, just so that you know. There is a provision that basically says it will cost you is the relocation cost, but it could be moved.
okay. I think that's something we definitely got to look at. So from what you're telling me, it sounds like we pretty much have golden handcuffs on, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, the approach would be to, you know, if you
Wait for
wanted
the
to, wait to see whether or not the law changes, and then it would be addressed that way.
Tom, just about relocating it, but if it's a negative, I mean, they're the ones that they, being the traffic ATS, are the ones that did the analysis to tell us where they put it. We put it where they said to put it, and it's basically, for lack of a better term, costing us out of the revenue of the other ones to do it. But rather than relocating, can we just turn it off?
Are we
Yeah,
contracted
that
for
was my
4
point. I mean,
instead
if
of
that
3?
was the fourth highest one, and
But if it's not, yeah, but I mean,
it's not meeting the criteria for.
it's not even meeting, they wouldn't even put one in there now.
Right.
We don't have one
The
at.
cost to relocate, it's not that much.
I think the biggest problem was there weren't a lot of places to relocate them because we didn't have the right of way.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
I need to ask a question. Do we have one at Forest Lakes and 580?
No.
It looks like it, but I don't think that's a camera.
It is.
And isn't that
No.
where it should be?
That's not a camera.
No, there's not a camera
What is
there.
that thing?
That's the
That's not for
county's ITS.
That's,
It's a camera, but it's not for that.
Okay, well, shouldn't that be the place where we should
actually,
have?
this is not the time to discuss
It all
that.
goes by
Well,
what their study
okay.
showed.
I mean, even him.
All right, well, for right now, I'm just concerned about the letter from the clerk. I think Tom has answered my question that we really can't put a moratorium on it. I know, what did St. Pete do? They did no tickets for rental cars? How
That's
do we
what was in
know?
the newspaper.
Oh, so rental people can just run the red light?
But there's already a couple of bills filed in the legislature, and of course, the session started today. I would recommend that we just wait and see what happens in the next 60 days. I think there probably will be something passed in the legislature,
I think so.
and it'll probably address at least some, if not most, of the points raised in Mr. Burke's letter. I think he has some valid points also, but I'd probably agree with 90% of it, but also I would opine that, give you my opinion, that the corrections are up to the legislature, about 90% of what the points he raised, we can't do anything about. The whole process is laid out in statute. But I think something will happen this session, and it'll be different within 60 days. Now, it might not go into effect till July 1st or something like that, but I think they're probably.
Well, we
gonna
have already
address it.
made some concessions. Lisa's already told us that, which I think should be made. The biggest problem, now, I've done some The biggest problem Burke had is with the city of St. Petersburg. That's where his biggest problem is coming from. And that's why you see in the newspaper that Bill Foster has been negotiating this and making changes in St. Petersburg. That's where most of the problem is coming from, is St. Petersburg, and not the other four communities. I mean, St. Petersburg has almost made an abortion out of it.
So we're already giving an extra 7 days on top of the 30 before it becomes a uniform, what is it called? Uniform
Traffic citation.
And that's up to us, right?
Well, they still have to pay it within 30 days. It's more of a processing issue of when it arrives at ATS and gets processed. So that actually, of course, helps the person that mails it on day 29.
Right.
And it seems reasonable, a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah. I just have a big problem with it jumping the way it jumps for a camera taking a picture. It just seems excessive.
Right, and then the tourists are at the mercy of the rental car company to send them the citation in time, for them to pay it in time, and that's why, so I'm glad to hear, that's what we did for the week, we gave an extra week for that, so we're at 37 days instead of 30? Is that what you asked, Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna help a lot.
Yeah, we could even make it
And
45.
it's one of the items
For
that-
rental cars, I think we should make it
Well,
45.
I think another problem is I got a phone call from a kid that's living, he was on a Little League team when, that's how, he called me up. He was somewhat upset. He got the bill in the mail. His 16-year-old son ran the red light out here. And we talked about it. In fact, he called me back 2 days ago and said, Mr. Bieber, and I understand all this now and blah, blah, blah. And, once he got, I calmed him down a little bit. I said, did your son learn anything?
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, his son walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I got to go, Mr. Bieber. My son and I are going to have a talk. Now, that might be, I can see a problem there, that if a son gets a ticket and the daddy has to pay for it, I would be upset also. But let me tell you something.
Well, let me tell you something. I have firsthand experience with that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Do you really?
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, his daughter.
I got a better experience than that, okay? My middle son, now I don't want to, I'll say this in a way that's nice. My middle son did not go to the bathroom for 6 nights and 7 days. And my beautiful wife and I couldn't even talk to him because he sat down there on 49th Street because he had red light, he run red lights, got his license suspended. I even called Tallahassee. What do you mean running red lights? That's what he got, running yellow lights and red lights. Did it again, got his license suspended, and sat down there in 49th Street for 6 nights and 7 days. So, then I said, Jerry, did you learn anything? He said, Dad, I'll never run another red light in my life. He said, I sat down there with murderers and thieves, and he said, I sat in a corner, didn't even sleep. So,
That taught him.
oh yeah.
My point was, if you have a child that's driving and
Yeah, I understand.
you're the
that.
registered person for the vehicle, there's a high probability you're going to get that ticket, and they're
I
not.
would be really upset over that. So I don't know if we can
So then you
address
take the
that or
car away
not.
from him.
Well,
I think that's one of the
My
things we're
parents
going to
did.
address, isn't it, Bruce or Tom?
Well, one of the issues is this procedure that's in place now, where if you're not the driver, you send an affidavit, and you have to state who the driver is, and then they are cited, but they get a uniform traffic citation, they don't get a notice of violation. I think is probably one of the issues the legislature will hopefully address.
Now, that's one I think they should address.
But there's been a number of issues, as you brought up, where either it's a parent-child, or sometimes it's spouses, but, the car is in someone's name, and that's who gets the ticket.
I mean, I think the citation's already high enough as it is, but then to make the jump like it is, I mean, good God, if everybody did that, you're late on your electric bill, and all of a sudden they just double it, I mean.
Yeah,
It's kind of excessive. But.
you're right.
Okay, I guess we stay with the status quo, and hopefully they fix it in Tallahassee. fast.
I think they will. I think they will.
Okay, thank you.
St. Petersburg's already trying to fix their mess up.
Mayor, before we move on to the next item, I would like to recognize we have with us this evening Captain Glenn Lubin, who is the new North District Commander with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and just wanted to introduce him. Recently promoted also, if I'm
And
not
he's very
correct,
familiar with Oldsmar.
right? Perhaps known in the Oldsmar area.
Good evening. Thank you.
Welcome.
My name is Captain Glenn Lubin. I am the new North District Station Commander. I've been with the Sheriff's Office 27 years. I've been an Oldsmar resident since '98. It's a great place. I've got a lot of history in the north end of Pinellas. So I'm here. You'll see me out and about more often. Appreciate the warm welcome, and we'll keep our communication lines open.
Thank you, Captain, and congratulations.
Thanks, Captain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of Oldsmar.
The next item, item 8, authorize the city attorney to prepare an ordinance adopting the Tampa Road Corridor Plan. And I would ask the council to take that action this evening, but this is also one of the council's priorities, and I think that it would probably be a good idea that the council consider scheduling a work session before we
That's what I
bring
was
the
gonna
ordinance
say.
back for the first reading.
After the 19th.
Exactly what I was going to say.
So we can, if that's what y'all would like to do, or if that's your preference, we can still do the presentation, or we can postpone that till the work session. It's whatever y'all want to do.
I'd rather
I like the work
postpone it.
session idea.
I do too.
I mean,
There's too much to,
I
there's too
totally
much to
support.
talk
I
about.
totally support the study.
There's a lot to talk about this. So a
And look how she got all
workshop would
those.
be wonderful.
So,
Mayor, if you'll
Oh,
give
it's
me
all her
your,
pictures.
Mayor,
Marie, nice job. Very nice presentation.
Would you like this entered into the record?
if you'll give me your proxy, I'll vote for you on this.
Well, I totally support it, so I think it's a great plan, but
I do too.
I have no problem letting you guys have a work session when I'm gone. I'm all for that.
Oh, gee, thanks.
just a couple of other questions. Do you want to try and schedule that now, or just wait till the next meeting to schedule it?
I don't care. We can schedule it now as far as I'm concerned.
I'm fine with waiting. It's not like there's an urgency to it. I mean, then,
Give me a couple of dates. I might not be able
Well,
to
there's a
schedule
sale on the tower.
oh, there is.
Yeah, and it expires.
That tower's cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
it. Have a car up there.
No,
So
it doesn't.
everybody going through here
I would
knows.
just put it on the next
puts-
agenda. How's that?
That's fine.
And that way you,
Fine.
the other council person will be sitting in and they can all.
That's right. So, but if you're okay with it, if you will go ahead and authorize the city attorney to prepare the ordinance, then that issue will be taken care of, and, we'll come back.
Okay, yeah,
with it
we can
for
do that.
first reading.
So let me have the motion to have the attorney prepare the ordinance. I have a
Wait,
second?
Wait, I missed something.
No, you didn't.
If we're going to prepare,
We're just preparing the ordinance is all. We're not voting on anything. Just the
how can you
ordinance.
prepare an
Then we'll have a
ordinance?
first reading and a second reading, so.
Well, I don't know that he'll even do that much work on it. A lot of the work has been done, but it's just an item that if you approve it tonight, then we don't have to bring that back for you to act on later. And subject to what happens at the work session, of course, the ordinance
That's what
may
I
get
mean.
modified or
Can always
changed
modify it.
at that point. It's kind of, I'm fine with it.
A matter
It
of.
would just save us a step later down the road.
I'm fine with
And
that.
any changes can be modified, Janice, so we're not losing anything.
It wouldn't come back for first reading till after. the work
I don't know, to me, that's just putting the cart before the horse, but.
Well, I got the
whatever.
motion. Did I have the second?
Yeah, I
But then we
second.
can also have the ordinance at the workshop too. Right? Yeah, so.
That's up to the city attorney, as to,
It's not going to take long to prepare it.
No.
Fine with
Yeah, and for the record, this mayor totally supports the corridor plan. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye, what the heck?
Motion carries 5 to
I
nothing.
mean, what am I
Okay.
going to do, fight with him?
you.
Oh, hold on a second. I think that, was that an I?
That was an aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was an I. Okay.
I mean, I'm
I
not
wasn't sure
going
either,
to.
but I went with the aye.
Mayor and council, item 9, award bid for construction of reclaimed water ASR project Phase 3. This is the aquifer storage and recovery project for reclaimed water. We received 3 bids. Tonight, we are recommending that it be awarded to the low bidder, TLC Diversified Incorporated, in the amount of $664,700. This project is 50% funded with a grant from the Southwest Florida Water Management District. This work will consist of converting the exploratory well into a test well and also the drilling of 2 monitoring wells. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend that council award the bid to TLC Diversified Incorporated.
This is a good thing. I need a motion to award the bid for construction.
So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? It's a long time coming for this, so great thing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right.
Thank you. The next item, authorize the city attorney to prepare an ordinance annexing 3144 St. Clair Avenue. This is a lot in West Oldsmar. This is a voluntary annexation at the request of the property owner. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. It has been reviewed by the planning board. They recommended also that you authorize the city attorney to prepare the annexation ordinance.
We love these. Need a motion?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item is also to authorize the city attorney to prepare an ordinance annexing 3612 Meriden Avenue. This lot is also located in West Oldsmar. Both of these parcels are owned by, they have the same owner, although they are not contiguous. This item has also been before the planning board, and they recommended that it be annexed into the corporate limits of Oldsmar. And that is my recommendation this evening, that you authorize the city attorney to prepare the appropriate annexation ordinance.
Okay, thank you. I need the motion for the attorney to prepare the ordinance.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 12 is a status report on the Hayes Park Cottages development agreement. This does not require council action tonight. We're going to give you a status report cover the major points, kind of outline what's in the proposed agreement. And Marie Dauphiné is going to make the presentation. As I said, it doesn't, we're not looking for a council vote tonight. We're looking particularly if there's something that you think is
troublesome.
Bad news, yeah, troublesome, that's a good word, use it to describe it. Of course, we would like you to bring that to our attention as we are getting close to completing negotiations on the development agreement. If the council is comfortable with the status and where things are at this point, the schedule moving forward would be to complete the draft of the development agreement, and it would go to the planning board in April. Also, our development partner, Mr. Buse, is here tonight as well, and you may have some questions for him, but now I'd like to ask Ms. Dauphiné to continue the presentation.
Marie Dauphiné, Planning and Redevelopment Director. As the city manager said, this is a status report on the proposed development agreement between Davis Buse Design Group, Inc. and the City of Oldsmar, and it's to develop 52 residential lots on approximately 7.273 acres, and that's located south of Hayes Road between Douglas Road and Pine Avenue. The project will provide housing opportunities to a variety of individuals and families located near employment areas, recreation areas, and shopping areas. So the salient points of the agreement are the development will be built in 5 phases and be built in conformance with the site plan that was approved on June 19th, 2012, and generally in conformance with a cottage architectural style. Second, the city and the developer will each contribute $650,000 toward the $1.3 million infrastructure cost for the project. Third, the developer will also be responsible for obtaining and paying for all utilities, stormwater facilities, and sanitary lift station, as well as all city building permits for the residential units, all impact fees, and parkland dedication fees. And the developer will also be responsible for preparation of the homeowners association documents and restrictive covenants. The project will have a master meter for potable water and a master meter for reclaimed water. Fifth, upon completion of each residential unit, the developer will pay the city $20,000 to repay the city for the city contributions. And this agreement will be valid for a period of 3 years. So comments have been received from city staff, and we've forwarded it to the city attorney for review. And as the city manager said, it'll be discussed at the March TRC meeting and the planning board meeting on August 10th. So staff is requesting authorization from the city council to continue review and processing of the development agreement for Hayes Park Cottages. Any questions?
Any questions? This is another project that I totally support, but won't have a vote on.
Questions of anybody in general, or is it just?
Yeah, you can ask Mr. Hughes or staff.
I brought this up today with Bruce, and I mean, I think this is great. I think it's awesome what we're doing in the city of Oldsmar with the different developments going on. But I guess kind of like when we start some of these projects, we come up with a hypothetical name for it. And I was just wondering if we're truly taking this next step, and we're going to start moving forward with the development agreement and things like that. Is it truly going to be called Hayes Park Cottages? Is that the name? Whatever. I just would like to see whatever the branding is going to be. We develop. I mean, kind of like the REO Speedwagon Square that they kind of called that next door. And I mean, I don't.
The site plan had Hayes Park Cottages.
Yeah.
So.
But I didn't. I just thought that was what it was named. I didn't know if that was officially what it's.
It's kind of on Hayes Road, too.
Yeah.
But is there a park? Is there a Hayes Park?
There's a park green in the development.
I just wondered if it was that we just kind of gave it a name as a.
What are you getting at? You don't like the name? You want to call it REO Cottages?
I personally would like to see Oldsmar somehow worked into the cottages of Oldsmar, or I think it's kind of a neat, unique project or something. But I mean, I'm fine with Hayes. I just was curious.
Hayes Park Cottages at Oldsmar.
Yeah, I mean, we're always talking about branding ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't care, but as long as if that's what it is, then we're moving forward. It would just be neat because John's going to start to promote it as such, and if that's what it's truly going to be.
We've always called it that, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, but you weren't going to call that thing REO Speedwagon Square.
I was against that.
It could be BMX Olympic Village.
Yeah. The cottages at the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I just asked if that was officially what it was moving forward. I'm fine.
Here he goes.
I guess the answer to that question is that's the official name unless the council decides to change it.
There you go, Doug.
Mr. Buse may
I'm
have
fine.
some
I just
comments
asked
on
if that was officially because I knew we were.
I think
We can change it if you want.
And since Lorenzo always already knows it,
yeah, no, I'm fine.
Well, Mr. Buse's middle name is Hayes. Nobody knew that.
With an H, John Buse, 150 State Street. Hayes Park Cottage is actually the default name. We've been working on it this is the 5th year since we talked about this project.
Yeah.
It just has kind of grown into that name. But as of now, we would like to work on branding it, and it doesn't have to stay Hayes Park, but it's a de facto.
And that was my only point. It wasn't. I'm not saying yay or nay one way, but it's, as you say, been the de facto name. And if we were going to truly brand it, that was kind of the reason.
But we still have.
it's on Hayes Road.
We still have a few months.
Yes, and I'd like the option to bring forth some names to you before we decide on the final name.
That's a good idea.
Because I think it all goes along with marketing a product.
Of course, and so that's where the name came from. And it just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to be the name. I'm not in love with it either.
Most that don't even know where Hayes Road is.
I'm only in love with it because it's been called that for 5 years. But I don't call it anything else. But I'm open. I'd like to bring some names if that would be a better choice, and we can pick.
My concern is that it gets started.
I'm all in favor
mine
of that.
too.
Yeah, let's not let the naming hold it up.
No, I'll thank you for your patience, and I'll thank myself for my patience. And we've finally figured a way to move forward without the county and all the strings that were attached. So I'm pretty excited, finally.
Yes,
It's a good project.
It's a wonderful project.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, as I said, it doesn't require action this evening. We will proceed. I did want to mention also, we did include in the packet a financial analysis that was prepared last month, and based on what we have estimated in terms of receipts and revenues from permit fees, impact fees, and the development costs that we would receive when these units are sold at closing or upon sale, we would receive $20,000 for each of the 52 units. So the estimated total income or inflow is, in round numbers, $1.3 million. And what we will have put into the project, including this contribution for development cost of $650,000, cost of the land at $534,000, planning and design work of approximately $85,000, is about 1.2. So in round numbers, we estimate when it's done will be about $100,000 to the good, plus then we'll have 52 more housing units that pay taxes and are also utility customers. So I just wanted to, I mean, I know y'all saw that was in the packet.
I do kind of have a question if I could, Mayor. and this is nothing against John, because obviously the economy's turning around and we're very hopeful, but what happens at the end of the 3 years if 2 lots have been sold and nothing else is going on and, the world has gone pear-shaped or something like that?
That's up to us, isn't it? Isn't it up
That's
to
my
us?
question, yeah.
Well,
I don't think you can have an answer to that one.
there'll be a schedule in the development agreement, and as occurs with other projects, there'll be drawdown in phases. As the developer, Mr. Buse is going to be committed to following that schedule. So in other words, over a period of time, he will buy or become the owner of all of this property. Or, I mean, he's going to resell it, of course, but we expect that that's how that's part of the protection for the city, is that he's committing to take these lots down on a certain schedule.
Gotcha.
Is that pretty accurate, John? Yeah.
And since we can always extend the contract in negotiations, can't we?
It could be, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask to see what.
And this isn't on the agenda, Mayor, but this is your last regular council meeting as mayor, so I would like to take this opportunity to express my own appreciation for all the support you've given to me and to the staff. Of course, we've had a few conversations about your 10 years in office here as 4 on the council and the last 6 as mayor. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you and express my own personal appreciation for all you've done to move the city forward and supporting the staff and all the work we've done. So you got a lot to be proud of.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And as I said this morning, I'm going to miss our bi-weekly meetings where we solve world peace and every financial problem in the history of mankind. But those have been a fun 10 years.
It has.
I'm going to miss those.
Does he get a plaque and a Shrekin Grost Award and all that good stuff for
Extra day of vacation.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. City Clerk.
Yeah. Item number 13, approve recommendations the City Council sit as a canvassing board for the March 12, 2013 election. The Pinellas County Canvassing Board canvasses the election results for the supervisor of elections, who then transmits the results to the city clerk. The Oldsmar City Charter requires that the city clerk transmit the election results to the municipal canvassing board, which then declare the results. It's a system, but it works. The city council can serve as a canvassing board or appoint qualified electors to serve in their place. As none of the current council members are running with opposition in the March 12, 2013 election, there's no need to appoint alternate members to the board. The city clerk recommends city council through motion for the city council to sit on the canvassing board for the March 12, 2013 municipal election.
Okay.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve the recommendation that the council sit as the canvassing board.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Need a motion, a second. Without it, we can't have the new people come in. No, I'm voting against this. No.
Do you want me to support you?
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Anything else?
Just a few notes about next Tuesday's election, March 12th. Even though a lot of the ballots coming in will probably be mailed in, the 3 polling places in Oldsmar, Gull Aire Village Clubhouse, Fire Station, and the library will be open from 7 to 7. If you have a mail-in ballot that you haven't mailed in, you can turn it in the full kit and vote live at one of those places. But you need to make sure that you bring everything with you. You can also pick up ballots at the counters through the supervisor of election offices, and there's a couple of other ways to take care of it. But I just want to make sure everybody understood that those will be open, all 3 of those places. Also, March 19th, in this room at 5:30, we'll have the reception will open up at 6 o'clock. The canvassing board will meet to declare the results that I'm transmitting, and then at 7, and we'll also have the swearing in. And we'll express appreciation to Mayor Roniker for his years of service. And at 7 o'clock, the council meeting will get started. And of course, at the council meeting, we'll have Mayor-elect Beavis being Mayor Beavis. And the city clerk's office is going to miss you tremendously. You've been a wonderful mayor, and we really are grateful and appreciative for all your service and dedication.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to miss our bi-weekly meetings too. So, yeah. It was kind of emotional this morning. Kathy wouldn't come out of her office.
I knew it. She's crying. She's crying. I knew she was going to.
She gave me a beautiful card, and I greatly appreciate that as well. But you're welcome to come and chat with us.
I know, I've never seen tissues here before.
Our girl.
Can you tell who prepared the dais?
We have one too over here.
They're all over the place.
All right, thank you. Next up, City Council, we've got discuss no parking zone request from residents of Gull Aire Village.
I've already taken care of it.
So the homeowners association is going to get us a letter, and that's what we're going to do. Well, that was easy.
Yep.
All right, now comments by council members. Is the protocol I give my going away speech tonight, or do I do that at the next meeting? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Ask Jerry, he's been
Whatever
there
you
7
want.
times.
Do both. Do what you want.
You could do 2.
Well, it usually happens at this meeting,
At this one?
and unless you want to stay for the next one.
No. That's why I canceled the other presentation. But I wish you well. So I prepared some, I wasn't going to do this, but I did anyway. And I apologize if I start reading because I don't want to not include somebody or miss something. But this is a little tough right now.
Yes.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but kind of am. My
You will.
mayoral journey is about to end, and that's good. As Bruce said, it's been a great 10 years. I want to start out by thanking my family, my wife Denise, my kids Brooke, Jordan, and Tanner. They unselfishly gave their time to allow me to do this, and I appreciate their support and their encouragement to allow me to do something that I really cared about and was very passionate about. So I love them. I want to start with the incredible staff we have. Mr. Haddock, I've said this before, is probably the best city manager in the country, bar none. And we've been blessed to have you for 28 years?
Only 27.
Oh, 27? Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting?
But, his professionalism, his innovation, his progressiveness, his leadership are unmatched. And I, too, have had a great 10 years with you. We didn't always get eye to eye on things, but I think at the end of the meeting, everything was fine from that moment on, and we moved on. And I think this whole council did a good job of that the last 6 years. So I want to thank you for all that you've done in the city, because we should all be proud to live in the city of Oldsmar. A lot of that's attributed to you, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also want to thank our city attorney, who I've had the pleasure of sitting with for the last 10 years. It's been a lot of fun. You've done a great job of keeping that guy out of trouble, but keeping me out of trouble up here. One of the one funny story, but and I'll get to that in a minute. I think you probably know where I'm going with that one. But in the 10 years that I've been up here doing the budgets, Tom's firm has only asked for a raise one time in 10 years. And that's pretty phenomenal, considering the economic hardships that everybody's gone through and stuff. So I want to thank you for that. But the funny thing is, I was reading a resolution about water, and he started drinking a glass of water and started choking up here. And I could not stop laughing. I couldn't finish the resolution. I just wanted to share that. I think we talked about that the other day. But I'm going to miss you up here, and maybe we'll get to go fishing one day.
Appreciate it.
Our clerk and our deputy clerk, you guys know how I feel about you. I gave you the award last week, so, hats off. You guys are the greatest, and again, I appreciate everything that you've done for me and all your support. Our department heads and our employees, you guys are the backbone of the city. Without what you guys do, the city is not what it is. And the testament is the last 10 years we've done budgets. I think our budgets probably went smoother than every other city in Pinellas County. And a lot of that has to do with our employees, our department heads, Bruce, the finance department. Collectively, you guys just rock. Tim, great job. Chief, Al, Marie. Am I missing anybody? Lisa. That's all that's in here today. But every employee, I want to just thank them sincerely. I also want to thank the men and women of Oldsmar Fire Rescue and our chief, as well as our Pinellas County deputies that serve the city and our 2 community resource officers, Rick and Tom. You guys put your life out there on the line every day. I realize that. I think this council realized that. And your job is to protect, before you're even protecting yourself. So again, thank you for your service, and I appreciate everything you guys do here. I'd be remiss not to thank the residents that allowed me to be elected 4 different times. I mean, that's quite an honor. And I've been receiving an unusual amount of compliments the last couple of weeks from the residents, and I greatly appreciate all of that. And last, I want to thank the business community for all of that they do for me, and especially the chamber and the relationships I have with you guys. Thank you for that. We built our house in Oldsmar back in 1997, and in 2000, about that time, about 1993, I started getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce, where I got into leadership positions. I got on the board, and in 2001, 2002, I was the chairman of the board, and I never had any inkling into getting into politics or anything like that. And in 2000, I guess it was 2002, the council had a lot of infighting amongst them at the council meetings. You can attest to that. And there was a lot of negative stuff coming out of the city of Oldsmar. So I asked, at the time, Mayor Beaverland to come and meet me at the house in 2002 to talk about me running for a seat on council in 2003. And the funny thing is, when you first walked into my house, I literally had a Beaverland painting. I wanted to get on his good side. So. Now, we were at an auction, and my wife liked the frame, so we bought the painting. We had it up there for a number of years. And I talked to Jerry, and he was very candid and let me know his feelings, and thought I got along really well with him, and I decided to throw my hat in the arena with no political ambition, and I did it. And when I decided to run, I said the only way I was going to be able to achieve results was basically three things. I would have no hidden agendas, I would take a common sense approach to government, and I would use my business leadership skills to make good decisions for the city. And I think during the last 10 years, I've accomplished those goals, and I think we did get results. I've had the privilege and the honor to represent our city at many great events and special occasions. It's been an honor to speak at our Veterans Day, our Memorial Day, and our 911 services. I've enjoyed participating in events both at Oldsmar Elementary and Forest Lake Elementary. Anything I could do with the kids, I was always willing to do. There was also a lot of heartbreak while I was mayor. It was difficult and tough to represent the city when we went to St. Petersburg to pay tribute to the 3 fallen police officers. There was a special honor, and one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do in my entire life is when I was asked to speak at Corporal Frank Robert Gross' service, who was an Oldsmar resident that was killed in action in Afghanistan. That was probably the biggest honor I've ever had, probably in my entire life, to do that. And that was a difficult thing to do, but I'm grateful that I did it, and I still think about that family almost every day. During my time on council, I've had to serve on some amazing boards. While representing Oldsmar, I've learned a ton from each one of the boards, and the boards I've sat on in 2003, 2005 were the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. On 2003, 2005, I sat on the Agency of Bay Management. 2003, 2005, I sat on the Pinellas Education Coalition. I sat on the Pinellas MPO twice, in 2005 through 2007, and again in 2011 to 2012. And there's not many people that can say they've done that, because that rotates with Safety Harbor and Tarpon Springs. I'm on the Pinellas Planning Council from 2007 until next Wednesday. And I've been on the executive board for the merger with both the MPO and the PPC, and that's something I'm very proud of. And we're able to change the land use categories. What is it, 33, Marie, to like 11? So that's going to make everybody's life on this council and all of staff's life much easier. And I've been on the Pinellas Mayor's Council from 2007 until tomorrow, which will be my last meeting. And I've asked Mayor-elect Beavis to come and meet the guys and girls that are that fraternity, and he's going to do just fine. But my whole time up here, I can honestly say I didn't accomplish anything. I did nothing by myself. This was all done collectively as a team. And everything we did, we worked as a cohesive team most of the time. I mean, sometimes it got a little crazy, but for most of the time, we were a pretty cohesive team. And we didn't always agree on things, and that's okay. But what we did was we always maintained respect with each other. At the end of the day, if you were on the losing end of a vote, there was no hard feelings after that. We came back the next day ready to work. And that's why we got things done. We never held grudges, and we always worked towards the goal of the betterment of our community. And that was the bottom line. We wanted to make the community better. And we did a good job of that. The team composition was our great staff, led by Bruce, the department heads, our employees, nonprofit groups, business community, the residents, and the past councils and this council. That's how we got things accomplished. And we did this in the last 6 years, probably during the most difficult economic times that we've known. During my time, I'm happy to have collaborated with my friend and former mayor of Safety Harbor, Andy Steingold. When Andy and I first got elected, somewhere shortly after 2003, we began the mission with our cities to clean the bay, to find a reason, how do we clean the bay? And I remember Bruce and I have had this discussion before, but 10 years ago, you tell me, well, it'd take 10 years before we got anywhere, but you had to start somewhere. And 10 years later, now at least we know what's the cause. Well, maybe in 10 more years, they'll figure out how to fix it, but at least we know a lot more than we did 10 years ago. And Andy and I also formed, through the margarita mixing contest for All Children's Hospital, we started meeting with the four other northern cities that never got together. And it was Dunedin, Clearwater, Safety Harbor, Oldsmar, and Tarpon Springs. And the mayors, we started going to breakfast, each month. And then we said, you know what? We get more value if we invited the city managers. So we started doing that. I think you would agree. That's going to be a pretty exciting and powerful group for North County. Because in my opinion, for the last, however this county is, North County's been forgotten.
Absolutely.
When it comes to planning and stuff. And we're kind of like a donor part of the county for South County. And that needs to change. And this group has got great potential to do that. So that's something I'm very proud of. We also enhanced our relationship with county, state, and federal levels. We've come a long way when it goes to that. And we can all be very proud of these following achievements. We created new parks. We built Veterans Memorial Park, the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve. We built Cypress Forest Recreation Center. We built and paid for a new library. We renovated the oldest building in the city, built in 1918. You're sitting in it. And we created these council chambers. We put a home for the Chamber of Commerce downstairs and a home for the Historical Society. In addition, we have an office for our resource officers downstairs. So all in all, pretty nice renovation. We expanded our reclaimed water services, and I'm happy to say tonight, we've expanded those even farther with going with the ASR project, and that's going to be an exciting project where we'll reach our goal of supplying every resident and every business the ability to have reclaimed water in the city. Our city has earned a silver green city designation. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. Silver green city designation. And we've gone to single stream recycling and garbage pickups. Very soon, we will complete our trail system, which is all paid for, that will link all our parks to one another. We've done streetscaping on 580 and Tampa Road, improvements from right to the boat ramp and several business parks. We purchased all the land necessary to create a vibrant mix use downtown, which is exciting. Now we own all the land here in downtown, so the challenge will be for you to figure out what to put there as far as bricks and mortar. Yes. We witnessed tremendous commercial and we witnessed tremendous commercial growth. We mean business visits. I can't tell you how happy I was the day that Nielsen called me last year and told me that they were bringing 800 jobs to Oldsmar. That was a good day. We now have architectural standards for our downtown and soon to be a Tampa Road Corridor Plan. We lowered taxes twice in the last 6 years. I don't know if many cities have done that. And who would have thought we'd be drinking our own water that we're creating ourselves in a soon-to-be LEED certified RO plant. Pretty amazing stuff. Our city was founded by an inventor 100 years ago. 100 years later, we continue to think outside the box. Our city is a leader, not a follower. We are not afraid to take risks and possibly fail. I probably said too much already, but before I close, I want to thank all of the members who serve on our volunteer boards, which are an enormous benefit to the city, and they do that just for their volunteerism. I want to thank the 11 council members that I've had the pleasure of serving with the last 10 years, and Marcelo Caruso, Don Boer, Babe Wright, Greg Rubley, Ed Manny, Suzanne Vale, Eric Seidel, Linda Norris, our mayor-elect Doug Beavis, and two that I've sat with just about the whole 10 years, Janice and Jerry. And, when I talked about contentious times first when I first got in office, one of the first meetings, the mayor at the time hit Janice with the gavel, and she threw it back at him. Like, what did I get into here?
Well, isn't that the reason you ran? Because we were.
And the first time I almost got hit by it. I was like, what's going on here? But I want to congratulate Mayor-elect Beavis and also Council Members Miller and Norris on your election wins. I believe it shows that the residents were happy with the direction and the leadership we were taking. Together, we have accomplished a lot, but there's still a lot more to be done in this city. Mayor-elect Beavis, unfortunately, I don't have a playbook to hand you to tell you what to do, but I feel certain you're going to do a great job and lead the city in a forward-moving manner. My only advice would be that teamwork is the key to our success. And please, we've got 3 candidates that are working very hard here in this upcoming election on Tuesday. Please go out and vote. We've got men and women fighting for our, losing their lives for our freedoms. And it takes you 2 seconds to go and vote. So out of respect for these 3 individuals, and I wish you all 3 the best. Best of luck. Unfortunately, 2 are going to be disappointed, but that happens in every election. Don't get discouraged. Keep your head up and come back at it if you lose. Win or lose, stay involved. Stay involved because all 3 of you are great people, and only one can fill the seat, unfortunately. But please stay involved. My family and I just want to thank you for all your support and dedication you have given us over the years. It's been a privilege to serve, and I want to God bless. Thank you.
And you know what?
What?
You stay involved.
I just might. I think I got something up my sleeve.
Good.
All right, we're still at comments by council members. We'll start with Linda.
I'm going to cry. I'm glad all of these are here. But I would just like to say that being the novice on the council, when I first came on the council, you always treated me with respect, and you never treated me like if I had a stupid question, you didn't make me feel like it was a stupid question. And Oldsmar is a very forward town, and a lot to do with your leadership. And like you said, the teamwork it's been a joy to serve with you and to have you be the boss. It really has.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure Doug will be okay.
One thing I enjoyed the most too was our planning sessions. Except the one day I wanted to go to the beach.
And
But no, thank you.
whatever you do decide to do, I hope you do run for higher office, because I know that you'll have a lot of support within the city and the state. One thing that really always that I really find amazing with you is that not only do you have a family, do you have a business, are you the mayor of this town, but the amount of boards and things that you do and the places that you go and how you represent us. I was in Washington and somebody knew you. That was really cool. And so I don't know how we're going to miss you. We really are.
I appreciate the
So, and I do believe, I wasn't here when the gavel hitting and the, negative stuff was all going on and everything.
Lucky.
Yeah, apparently. But I can definitely say that the whole time that I've known you, this has been a positive council, and you have made positive changes. So, I'm going to be quick because I know it's getting late. I was a little disappointed in the library colors because they didn't put our brown, but we're looking at that. I talked to Bruce about that today. They didn't do the brown on the soffit and fascia, but we're going to look at that and make sure that that gets done, because that is what we all decided on. So I just wanted to put that in the record to make sure that we don't forget to do that. I wanted to also say good luck to Suda, Gabby, and Dan, and commend you all on clean, positive campaigns. There hasn't been a lot of mud. No, I haven't heard of anything that y'all have said about one another in a negative way.
Right.
And I think that is another reflection on the city of Oldsmar. So good luck to all of you. And that's it. That's it. Oh, Oldsmar Cares Gala was really nice. So and anybody that had anything to do with that and the volunteering and the gifts, everything that they did, it was a very lovely event. But this is too sad. Jim?
Make it happy next time. All right, Mr. Mayor-elect.
I agree with everything that you said about a team. And I mean, I think I was much like you when I got involved in that. I got involved with my community. You saw the involvement that I had and the passion that I had. I came in with no agenda, and it must be the same thing. Talked to Jerry. Held Lincoln's head in his house, and and then your leadership and friendship, first and foremost. I mean, we sit up here and make decisions, some easier than others, but some tougher ones. But it's also your friendship that we've had away from here, and just the passion that you have for the city of Oldsmar. I don't think anybody can question that. As Linda said, up in Washington, D.C., to hear Oldsmar. And to hear the USA BMX guy say in whatever part of the world it was in, I don't even know what he said, but, you know, that Oldsmar is there. And it's because of your leadership, and as you also said, the team that we have here. Yeah, there might have been some infighting and some gavel throwing, but when you talk to other municipalities, and everybody up here, Jerry and Janice and all know that even on our worst day, we're far better than most of them on their best day. And that's, again, a tribute to, as you said, our city manager, our city attorney, the staff, the city as a whole. And I think you're right. People joke about running for mayor and council, and it's like, you know, they just don't want it. But I really think it's what you said, is that they're happy, not with me or Janice or Linda, it's collectively as a whole where we've gone. We've made some great strides, and you know, the things that you've been involved in and that have been completed, you know, are incredible. I remember at our budget workshop, I can't remember which one it was, shortly after I got on council, but it continued all the way up to this most recent workshop, is that you're going to ride the revenue stream all the way to the bottom, and then whoever comes in next is going to get the one that's going to go be pulling the nose up. Right. And it couldn't be truer, but, you know, your stance on safety in the community, your stance on, you know, the taxes and the businesses and the people, it really shows. As I mentioned at the last council meeting, when we were discussing the other development, it wasn't that long ago that people that lived in 34677 didn't like to even acknowledge that they were from Oldsmar. And now you've got people worldwide. We may have an Olympic training facility here. And I mean, I know I'm honored, and I know you're honored to be a part of that. And I just want to thank you for your leadership and your friendship.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Councilmember Miller.
Well, I'm going to miss you. I mean, we first started out green.
Yep.
On the council. I mean, I'd sat on the planning board, but it was nothing like the council. And then we had to do our classes together, and we got to be friends.
Yeah.
And you can ask anybody here that I've always said that you are one of the best mayors that we've ever had. And I've even told that to Bruce.
I'm not dying now. I'm still going to be around. I'm just not going to sit here.
But I do appreciate your friendship. I appreciate everything you've done. It's going to be different. It's going to be different without you. And I hope that we can still remain friends.
Absolutely.
And see each other now and then. I can't say any more than what everybody else said. It's just that you and I have been together for the last 10 years, you know. And even that year I sat out, I was your liaison to the Florida League of Cities, you know, so that was fun too, because I could still participate and bring all the info back to you, you know, and that was fun. That was a fun year, actually.
I'm going to miss our trips to Miami and Orlando.
Yeah.
Jacksonville at one time.
But anyway, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And whatever you do, you know, count me in.
I appreciate that.
I'm a supporter.
Thank you.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Okay, can I say, is this council comments too?
Yeah. You don't have to say anything about me.
I have one thing I want to bring to everybody's attention, especially your attention.
So pay attention.
So pay attention, yeah. We own, or it's in, we don't own, but the guys from the restaurant that bought that trailer park in West Oldsmar.
Outback?
Yeah, Outback stuff. And so they are part of the city, right? There's weeds this high, and not only that, but there's a bus bench that has a realtor's info on it, and that's the only one in the whole city. And I mean, that's part of us, and isn't that against our
code?
Yeah. Yeah. So that needs to be taken care of. So other than that,
Thank you, appreciate that. Mr. Vice Mayor.
I'm not going to.
No, I appreciate that too.
No, he's gonna cry. He'll cry.
But before I get to that, allow me just this one comment on something else. I want to wish my beautiful wife a happy anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
7 beautiful years.
How did you do it? How did you do it?
And I love you. Now, Jim, I know you're not going anywhere.
No.
I know for a fact, in my mind, and I'm going to support you, whatever you run for, go for it.
You go for it,
Go
yes.
for it.
Yes.
I do want to tell you this. I have served with 13 mayors and 26 councils. And of those 13 mayors, many of them should have stayed home. I think a mayor, probably the most outstanding person that I've always mentioned is Bud Lister. A vision and a footprint. And what designates a mayor after he's gone is the footprints that he leaves. We've had mayors that were crooked. We have mayors that have done this city wrong, and you were not one of them. When you leave this office, you have left some big footprints. Doug, when you leave office, make sure you have left your footprints here that are positive, that stands tall. Because yours, Jim, stands tall. And one of them that I have to say is that I never agreed with you on.
I know what it is. You're sitting in it.
We're sitting in it. Which just goes to show you that all mayors aren't right all the time. I actually give your leadership the reason why we're sitting here. And I thank you for that. We're friends. First time I met Jim was when I ran for office for county and lost. But I went to Jim and he printed my beautiful brochures that nobody probably read.
I did, Chair.
But I did get 11,000 votes. Susan got 21,000. It's been a pleasure. You have been a leader. You have done that chair justice. And you're right when it says that, and both you and I have said this many times, that all we do is vote, and we go home, and these people make us look good. I have served on councils that probably every council I have served on, there's been good council members. I have served on some council when there were some real duds. They should have stayed home. But it takes leadership from that chair to make things happen. It really does. And as a leader, it has been my honor to follow you.
Thank you.
In that leadership. You have done well. You can walk away from here. You can be proud. Because throughout the town, you will see your footprints. And we're sitting in one right here. Jim, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your love of Oldsmar. And that's what it's all about. Making this city, Orioles' dream city, that has finally risen up as the diamond of the West Coast of Florida.
Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank
comments.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One other thing, wait a minute.
You okay?
Yeah, no.
Candidates, good luck.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you have, I've been there 1 billion times, older than dirt. Thank you. Thank you. One thing is mayor, you need, give me a little different title.
No. Believe me, I can come up with a few.
But I do, I wish you all the luck in the world. You're all qualified. And the one that sits up here, let me tell you something. The other two are not losers. You're winners because you tried. You know how many times I've tried things and failed? When I die, I'll have more failures than I will success. If I have 1,000 failures, that means I have had at least 5 successes. And that's what counts. Okay. Now, Mayor, there's been something I wanted to do. I've wanted to do ever since I've been on this council for the last 25, 26, 22, whatever it is years, and I've never been able to do it. Tonight I want to do it, if you allow me.
We can do kissing?
Sure.
I'm not. This is.
I would prefer you blow me one.
Really?
This is something I've always wanted to do. See, I know that within me that I have the ability of an Alfred Hitchcock or a Cecil B. DeMille. I know I do.
I do too.
I know I do.
I agree
and
with
so
you.
Tonight I want to do this. I want to say lights, camera, action.
Good. Oh, this is cute. Oh, this is nice. Oh, wow. This is cute.
Another turning point, a fork stuck
Look
in
at you,
the
Doug.
road. Sun grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why.
Look at you. Look how great you got.
I know, it's The Office.
It's something unpredictable,
Oh, yeah.
but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
We had to put that in there?
So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Thanks, Billy.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
That's hilarious. Another day in paradise. Isn't that cute? Good job. Did Holly put that together?
Yeah, who did that?
Holly did that, right?
Thank you.
Good job, Holly.
She did great.
Amazing, when I first got in office, I had a daughter when I was first in office, so she's actually grown up
Yeah.
the whole time I've been in here. So.
Yeah, the baby wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't tell this story a lot, but when we moved into the neighborhood in '97, we put Brooke in first grade at Oldsmar Elementary, and I became friends with the principal, and he found out I own a commercial printing company. And I told him that as long as I had a kid in Oldsmar Elementary, I would donate the printing every year. And I think we're 17 years in a row I've had a child in Oldsmar Elementary. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but the school loves me. And she's only in third grade, so they still got a couple more years.
Yeah, really.
But I guess I'll continue those donations afterwards, but
Sure you will.
thank you for all the kind words. And the video was awesome, thank you. I'm speechless.
Well, that's something.
Yeah. So, everybody else is good? All right. Need a motion for the tentative agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it, guys. Done.